Shalom Chevra, I hope everyone's doing well, right? We're coming to the end of another week. It's getting closer to Shabbos, which means time to talk a little bit more on Derech Eretz, right? Last couple weeks we've been doing Derech Eretz and Halacha, and I realized maybe it's a good opportunity to take a pause and just discuss a little bit about what is Derech Eretz in itself. So, first off, throughout, we see it within Chumash, we see Derech Eretz, we see it in Gemara, we see it in Mishnayos, but there's also just kind of like a more base commonality that people sometimes just forget about. And that deals with Derech Eretz, right? The way that people use it more as almost as a slang. In certain regards, how do people work with one another, right? Mitzvos aseh bein adam lechavero. And just being respectful, being a mensch, right? I think actually even Chabad.org uses the term being a mensch, right, as one of their definitions. But when we start looking at it a bit deeper and we start to kind of expand out a little bit more, what does it mean? What do we use it for in our own personal lives, right? So with this one, unlike previous speeches or talks I've given, I actually want to quote a few things. I'm going to do a quote from an English translation. It makes everybody's lives easier. There's no confusion that way, right? But specifically, I want to be dealing with Torah and Derech Eretz. So we have within Pirkei Avos, we have two separate Mishnahs which deal with Derech Eretz. One of them says, Rabbi Eliezer, son of Azariah, would say if there is no Torah, there is no common decency, which is a translation of Derech Eretz. And if there is no common decency, right, Derech Eretz, there is no Torah. The other one was, so we have Rabban Gamliel, son of Rabbi Yehuda, the Nasi, would say, beautiful is the study of Torah with Derech Eretz, for the toil of them both causes sin to be forgotten. Right? We have an idea of tshuva. So, first off, we have one of them is common decency being the translation, right? So, a great example. A friend of mine told me this story where he came across somebody who was on a bus. My friend has a smartphone. He was working, doing some stuff on his smartphone for his work. And he also has Sfarim on his smartphone. He listens to Shiorim. He'll do learning. I do the same as well. I have full Kahati Mishnayos. I'm very big on it on my phone. And then that way, if I'm just standing in line at a grocery store, poof, there it is. But somebody started giving a hard time, right? Yelling at him. Common decency is not to yell at your fellow because they have something that you may not agree with, especially if you don't fully understand it. So we're saying, and this other person, right? I believe that I was told that they learn full time and they're in a different neighborhood, different societal norms from where we live. And but there's a balance that goes with when you have Torah, you have to have the Derech Eretz itself, right? Because otherwise, what's the value of the Torah if you're not going to be putting it into your life, into your interactions, right? Ma'aseh bein adam lechavero. Learning Torah without that application, then we even have other Mishnahs within Pirkei Avos which talk about, it's right. We have the tree, lots of leaves and no roots. Right? It falls over with the slightest wind. With the second Mishnah that I read from Avos, right, study of Torah with Derech Eretz, the commentators actually say that Derech Eretz in this regard is Parnasa. Right, so we're starting to see a bit of a theme because it's not just a matter of decency bein adam lechavero. It's really how do we bring ourselves into the world, right? Beautiful is the story, and I want to kind of paraphrase this now. Beautiful is the study of Torah with bringing that Torah into the world and being involved with that world, because toil in both causes sins to be forgotten. Bringing the Torah that we learn on the outside, bringing it into our jobs, bringing our jobs that we live with, and having Torah reflected within the both of them, they cause us the ability to have tshuva. Few foods for thought. Have an amazing Shabbos, everybody. Please be well, stay safe, and be healthy.